Okay, we're recording now, actually. Everybody say hi. All right, so I'm going to repeat this for the video. This is the one that I just did. I have 1 4/10. You can see this is 1 whole and then 4/10. And I want to add to that 23 hundredths, which is 2/10 and 3 hundredths. Okay, so I'm adding 1 4/10 and 23 hundredths. Okay. There are 2 steps when we're adding decimals that you always want to keep in mind. Sometimes you don't have to do them both, but you always have to do the first one. Number 1 is line up the decimal points. So if I start here with 1 and 4/10, and I want to add 23 hundredths, okay, I have this 23 hundredths, and I'm going to move it around. Where does it go? Here? Absolutely not. We have to line up the decimal points. That is number 1. Line up the decimal points so that we have ones, tenths, and hundredths. Okay? So that is step 1. Line up the decimal points. So make sure when you put this second number down, you're not lining up the digits, you're lining up the decimal points. So we know where the ones place is. We know where the tenths place is. Okay? The second step is to annex zeros so that your numbers are to the same unit. Here I'm adding 1 and 40/10. I want to add 23 hundredths, so I'm going to annex a 0 and rename 1 and 4/10 as 1 and 40 hundredths. Now I'm adding hundredths to hundredths. So I look at my hundredths place first, and I have 0 hundredths here and 3 hundredths here. That gives me 3 hundredths. Then I look at my tenths place here. I have 4/10 here plus 2/10 here. That gives me 6/10 in total. The decimal point stays in the same place. That's just telling me where the ones place goes. And now I'm going to add my ones. I have 1 1 here, 0 ones here, and that gives me 1 whole. So I have 1 and 63 hundredths is my sum. Okay. So there we are, the 2 steps. Line up the decimal points and annex zeros to make the numbers the same unit. All right, so here is another one. I want to add 4/10 and 1 and 63 hundredths. Okay? And I have to get dressed for this. Okay? I look like a scientist, someone just said. Okay, so I have to get dressed here in my special shirt, which I have a picture of coming up in a second. And the rule is we dress for decimals. Okay? All right, so dress for decimals. In other words, when you're adding, you line up the decimals. And we don't usually do this with a microphone. This is going to sound terrible because of the... I apologize. You guys don't hear it right now, but I bet on the video, because I'm buttoning this shirt next to the decimal. Oh, it's going to sound horrible. I apologize. All right. So can everybody see my shirt here? Right? So for people watching at home, I'm wearing the shirt that's in this picture here. Okay. And this just reminds us, the buttons just show us that the decimals need to be lined up. And that makes sure that we keep our places in place. Okay. So we are adding 4/10. Okay. And to that, I'm going to just put it up here for a second. We want to add 1 and what is this number, everybody? 1 and
36,000.
36 thousandths. 1 and 36 thousandths. So when we write it, am I adding it like this?
No.
We have to line up the decimals, right? We line up the decimals. We dress for decimals. Okay. And now what is my second step? So now the decimals are lined up, but what do I need to do now? Annex 0. So now I'm renaming 4/10 as 400 thousandths. And now I can add up very simple. First, I add my thousandths. There are 6 thousandths here and no thousandths over here. There are 3 hundredths here, but no hundredths here. So I have 3. There are 4/10 here, no tenths here. So 4 and 0 is 4. And then there's no holes over here, 1 hole over here. So I add up 1 whole, and you could have put a 0 here too if you wanted to. So altogether, this is 1 and 436 thousandths. So remember, the keys are line up the decimals, and then annex 0 so they go to the same place, and just add like you normally would, and you will always get the right answer. Say goodbye.
Bye.